Welcome to the Conscious Creative Podcast, your weekly dose of soul-to-soul conversation that will have you saying peace out to your 9 to 5 to explore in your sacred calling. The topics center around conscious business and interviews with the folks who started them. We'll be exploring the art of being human and what it takes to live your life fully expressed and financially free. I'm Christina Gomes, and I went from high-paying job as a psychotherapist to leaving it all behind for my desire to travel the world playing my original music, to becoming the CEO and soulpreneur founder of freeyourcreativity.org, where I help visionary leaders create the businesses of their wildest dreams. If you have a sacred calling, stick around. My prayer is that you become the permission slip for the collective as you hear the soul-inspiring stories that call you forth into creative action. Let's get to the soul. Hello, my lovely audience. I am interviewing someone really special today. I have my former client on with us today. This is going to be a great interview because we are talking to a quantum career and life coach. And Allison has just got so many cool, deep, intuitive energies and skills to share with us today. And we are going to be talking today about human design. And I'm sure all sorts of things will come through, but human design as it relates to entrepreneurship. And she's also going to be sharing a cool download for you guys. But let me introduce you to her in the way that she wrote, because it is so powerful. And I'm a girl who focuses on messaging. And when I see my former clients like getting their message on, I get so excited to share it as you have shared it. So let me read your beautiful intro to the audience. So Allison works with clients in the healing arts, medical, and coaching industries who want to expand their medicine further into the world while achieving a juicy work-life balance. Allison holds a bachelor's degree in religious studies and is a certified functional medicine health coach and craniosacral therapist, possessing a strong background in the sciences as well as spirituality. Oh, love the way we weave spirit and science together in this world. Allison has embraced human design as the true link between science and spirit and guides her clients through their personal roadmaps of manifestation and co-creation of our reality, and professional. I said that, but that's coming through for a reason. So why don't you say hi, Allison, and let us know how you're feeling today. What's up with you?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. This is it. First of all, it about made me cry already, which in the best way possible, but it's just an honor to be here. It's an honor to speak to your audience. And I feel, and I know that you feel this way too with the work that you do. I feel like it's an honor to just be able to do this work and to bring these downloads and this level of information for the collective, for our personal, for our one-on-one clients and our group clients, all of our clients, but the people in our world. It's just, so yeah, I just feel really honored. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I feel honored as well. This is so true. And when we were working together for 2 rounds, everybody, we got close. I love the clients that go all in on themselves 6 months instead of 3, and you upgraded to the mentorship level. So I really got to learn about you, your work, but also your personality and your gifts on an intimate level. And what I always loved about working with you was how intuitive you were and how dedicated to the spiritual side of things and the rational, practical, scientific, the science behind quantum leaping and quantum like energizing our success. And so it's so lovely to see you and hear you owning that piece of your work. And so why don't we start by talking a little bit about this juicy download on how quantum leaping and quantum life coaching works.
Yeah, thank you. So I there's such an ocean of information, so I'll do my best to distill it. But when I came across human design years ago, I never intended to teach it. It's one of those things where as I really began working more and more with clients, it became apparent that human design intended for me to teach it. It was that way. It wasn't the other way around. So when I started doing deep dives into the actual quantum physics behind our reality, that's when everything opened up. That's when everything opened up for my clients. And then they were making those quantum leaps that we do hear about. Like this is kind of buzzwordy stuff on the internet. And so it's nice to understand what's really happening. So like there are we went to school and we learned about atoms and the particles that make up these atoms. And one of those subatomic particles is called neutrinos. And they're actually so teeny, 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 tiny that for a long time in history, for decades, scientists and quantum physicists thought that they didn't have any mass. They thought that they were like photons, like just light. But the truth is they actually do have mass. And not only do they have mass, why is that important? These little neutrinos, they make up our reality. For every little square inch on Earth, 3 million neutrinos are permeating it every single second. 3 million new neutrinos every single second. So when you tie that into the planets and where they are in astronomy and astrology and how everything is being orchestrated and the time of birth, and not only our time of birth, but the time that our soul came into our physical bodies, which is about 88 days before our birth. So in human design, you have 2 birthdays, the one where your soul comes and incarnates and the one where you come out of your mother's womb. And all of this together creates this massive picture of your unique design. And there's no two alike. Every single person on this planet is unique. And so it's very comprehensive. It is very, very scientific. And it's also very, very woo. It's the same. So I've never seen a divide between science and spirit. We have been programmed to think that there is a divide. There's absolutely not one. Consciousness loves to expand, and consciousness loves to, it just loves to be. Humans like to compartmentalize, right? And the ego needs to like try to understand all these things and whatever. But knowing that science and spirit are one, and there is this fulcrum point. And for me, I have really embraced that human design is a wonderful way for our minds to understand what is going on. And then it's this experiment that we can start living through our lives. And it does impact our businesses. It does impact our relationships. It impacts every aspect of life.
Oh, I felt all that. You said neutrino, and I'm like, I want to eat these guys.
You will love this, Christina. There's the guy that named it. He was Italian, and it comes from neutral because neutrino has a neutral charge. It's not like a positive charge like a proton or a negative charge like an electron. It's neutral, but they're so teeny tiny. It's like a neutrino. So you have to say it like.
That's why I wanted to eat it.
Exactly.
Pizza. Wow, super cool. And so and so when we're like gobbling up life, like someone like me, and probably with my human design 6-2 generator, just like gobbling up life, things that like really inspire me, things that really get my sacral going, like I want to eat it. Like I want to just like experience life and be satisfied in life. So even when you speaking the science behind all of this and the science and the way that it all melds into this whole reality is a spiritual gift. It is a practice. It is a school. It is a beautiful experience. And so when we learn about human design, or when we're applying our own design to creating extraordinary results and having extraordinary experiences, what do you recommend someone that's maybe new to human design or living, life a little bit more like aligned with their own design? What do you recommend them do first and how to approach this system of knowledge?
It's such a good question. Um, Human design, the way that I have observed it coming to people, it's much like spirit comes to people in different ways. So understanding that it actually is not a belief system, number one, it's actually a set of principles, mechanical principles, and it's based on things, it is based on things like astrology, quantum physics, the Kabbalah, the I Ching, the chakra system. It is all of those things at once. So breaking down the barrier for anyone who might think, well, I don't need another religion. Well, good, it's not a religion. So if someone is brand new to human design, usually a great place to start is learning your energy type. So you know that you're a generator. I know that I'm a manifesting generator. Those are two of the 5 energy types. There's also manifestors, there's projectors, and there are reflectors. And if someone just wants to dip their toe in the water about their energy type, that will give them a ton of guidance right away. Because the beautiful thing about interacting with the human design system is that any exposure to it at all, at any level at all, is life-changing. If that is what your spirit and your consciousness is seeking. If you're seeking to expand and you're seeking to drop in and know yourself on a deeper level, I would just say to anyone who's new to the system, don't get overwhelmed. Don't try to, just follow your own sacred intuition with the knowledge. It's not about having the knowledge up here. It's about truly bringing it into the body and then experimenting with it, playing with it. Bring that spirit of play to the table and see how it manifests in your life.
Oh, I love that. So we talked about generators, we talked about manifesting generators. That's you and I. So even like feeling us, feeling our like satisfaction in using our voice also, that's really cool. But it's very interesting that we're having this discussion today because I was getting on some calls recently as I'm launching the next round of the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. And everyone that's coming to me seems to know their human design and are asking me questions around how I work with them to ensure that I'm helping them through their own design. And as you know, in my program, I asked everyone their human design, even though I'm not an expert. I know my own design in almost any system because I want to be an expert in me and how I move in the world and how to live my life to my fullest potential in my own incarnation. So I love also to learn about others and have them give me their big 3 or their astrology and all of that. But I had 2 calls with people, and one was a projector, and she had this question that maybe you can answer better. But like as you're, putting your work out there in the world as a projector, or putting your work and like going out and because projectors, from my understanding, they wait for an invitation, supposedly. And how do we put our work out in the world? How do we go out there and professionally, if we have the projector design, what is your like intuition and coaching around people who think that they need to wait to be invited to serve in their gifts?
Yes, this is a huge question, and it's a legit question coming from the projector community. So projectors make up 20% of the population. And just for your audience really quick, because I feel like this is really, your audience is really evolved and very conscious. And this is something that the collective needs to understand, is that projectors are kind of the newest energy type on the scene. So before 1781, projector energy type did not even exist. And before that time, manifestors were kind of like the CEOs of the world. Like they were the kings and the queens and the emperors and everything. But there has been a giant shift in the collective, and projectors are actually the ones who are going to be the new CEOs, because projectors are the ones that they're kind of like if the generators and the manifesting generators are down in the jungle, we're like blazing our trails and like hacking through the brush and like having a good old time and playing. we get a lot done, but the projectors are like the bird in the tree that's like, y'all, like you could just go over there, like that way is so much easier. You don't have to work so fucking hard. Projectors see things, they see people, and they have a deep understanding of systems. So knowing that, I just wanted to honor the projector that was asking this question, and any projectors in your audience who feel the same way. And my thought there is, and my guidance to my own clients who are projectors is, if anyone is on your email list, has signed up for your email list, if anyone has added you on social media, if anyone has followed you, that is your invitation right there. They are interested in what you have to say. They are interested in your wisdom, because projector wisdom is different than other things. And the whole beauty about human design, the science of the aura, is that our auras will attract exactly who is meant for us and vice versa. So if anyone is following that projector on social media at all, or if anyone is in their field, in their family, in their friends or anything, and is talking to them, they're interested. Right.
Yes, that's great because that's what I said. Well, I did. I said like
So,
the coaching that I gave was like we get to create opportunities for people to invite you. And so your
mhm,
content becomes that opportunity because exactly what you said, if they're following you, if they've signed up for one of your trainings, like that's the invitation for you to speak deeper into their lives. And maybe a projector would really have have a like a great lot of success with a podcast or somewhere where people are making that like saying, yes, I invite you to speak into my life, because as soon as they're turning on that voice, they have the opportunity to turn it off. So they, it's like, it's not about always making a sale. It's about the connections that we make.
yeah,
And our content serves as that connection point so that people can opt out. It's actually illegal to send emails without the opt out, button for that reason. It's like I will email people every day because you can opt out, and most people do not want to opt out on people that they admire and want to learn from and are deeply connected to. So speaking on that, the other woman I talked to, this is so interesting of a conversation because I'm a 6-2 generator. And when saw like what they say it's the exemplary human. And I'm like, well, universe, could you take me off the pedestal? Like that seems like a lot of pressure, exemplary human. But like it's the hermit role model. And when one of my potential clients told me, oh yeah, she was a similar design, I was like, let's go. But what would you say about working with people that are not in your similar design? Like, I actually unintentionally hired someone that was the same exact design as me. And then I've worked with several people, we get to talking, and they're 6-2 generators. And I'm like, no wonder, like, it's flowing. But I've also worked with a manifester, which was very, very different. And I had to realize when this manifester was saying, oh, I'm just not ready to put it out yet. I'm not ready to put it out yet. I understood her design and realized she was in the incubation phase. And when she, like a lightning bolt, was ready to put it out, that it was going to take off. And so there was no rushing this human because I understood her design. So it's very easy for me to work with people of a different design, but I wanted to hear your take on that. Like, how has it been working with people of all sorts of
yeah.
designs and helping them understand their design, but also knowing that you can guide anyone just because you're a different design?
Yeah, it's really beautiful and interesting to see and observe who comes and like what design they are. And I actually experienced this when I was practicing full time with my craniosacral therapy practice. And I'm sure your audience, you have a lot of healers in your audience, they will resonate, where a lot of influxes of like the same condition would come in. Like I would just have people with like left shoulder issues for months. And I'm like, what is going on? Same thing happens with types is what I have seen, where I had an influx of 1-3 manifesting generators. I'm like, okay, I'm not a 1-3, I'm a 5-1, but cool. And so it's a training opportunity for me to really get to deeply and intimately know that type and how they operate. And also, no two charts are alike either, because there's gates and there's channels and there's people that have defined this and undefined that. But it's really, it's like a beautiful dance is how I see it. And it's really awesome when you're attracting someone of your own energy type and your own profile, because like y'all just get each other. And then it's also a beautiful dance where opposites attract. Some of the coolest interactions I've had are with projectors. And if I took my chart and I took their chart, it's like all of my defined centers, they have undefined, and vice versa. And we just do this gorgeous energetic dance, and we communicate differently. But I see them, they see me, and it's very unique. And I don't think that there's ever any two interactions that are the same, because again, there's no two charts that are the same. Is that resonating at all with what you were
Oh,
asking?
it's beautiful. I feel like we're dancing.
Totally.
So fun. Yes, and what was coming through was this word design.
Mhm.
It's such an attractive word for me as a life designer, as an artist. It's like I do my own graphic designs, even though that's not really what I teach, but what I teach on is offer design.
Mhm.
And so offer design mixed with human design, mixed with designing pieces of art if we do our graphics or someone else does, but living life like a work of art, designing our lives and our offerings and our content so intentionally to be able to be fluid and dance. So that
Mm.
was coming through for me. There was a question around that. Maybe I'll neutrino. Come back to me. But yeah, just let's see if a question develops from that. But this offer design. So how I help people is I help them craft offers. Oh, that's what it came back. Thank you, Neutrino. Is that so you have designed one offer in the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. And what I've been so privy to and so lucky and honored to witness is how this offer has deepened. So many people think that they're starting from scratch every month because they're, blowing up their offer, they're crumpling it out and they're throwing it out the window. And what I help my clients to see is that every little shift is a deepening in their body of work, in the legacy that they're leaving. And they can even change their offer name. They could even add in human design as you have so intentionally. But I wanted to speak to the changes that you've made and the deepening that you've made by owning your title as a quantum career and life coach and owning this modality of human design because I've gotten to witness the add-ons. And if you can speak to, like, was there any struggle with feeling like you were starting over or feeling like you were shifting niches? Or did you feel like you were just coming closer and closer to the essence of what is your medicine that you're here to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. It was it was an interesting journey, because I did create and I still offer the School of Intuition for medical professionals. And it is, I love that group container so much. And it came time to do it again. And I was doing it again. And so many people were coming to me asking for one-on-one. And the way that I had my business structured before was, while I'm really giving all of my attention to this group container, and I'm only having 3 spots available, because that's all the energy I could hold while being a single mom of, 3 boys and all of this. So, and then it's like I got the permission slip from my manifesting generator energy, which is, A mani-gen is we have squirrel brain, we have like shiny object syndrome, we have and I have so many undefined centers in my own chart. I'm like, oh, here and this and whatever. So it was a conversation that I had with myself. Like, okay, I don't want to abandon my group container, but this is what people are offering or wanting me to offer. It was so much more than that because there was such a demand for human design coming through into my field. And then when I embraced my own medicine and embraced my own design, it was like, oh, I'm just pivoting. I'm just going to be offering this for certain people. And I was attracting a much different group of clients who their intuition was already deeply developed. They didn't need that level of support. They needed this level of support. And so pivoting, opening my calendar to attract many more one-on-one clients and saying, yes, the School of Intuition for Medical Professionals is still there. We are still going to launch that in January. And at the time being, I am focusing here. And that gives my manifesting generator brain many outlets because we are multi passionate. And we need these outlets or we start feeling stuck and dissatisfied. And rather than making that about me, it was like, oh, I just need to kind of just open myself up a little bit more and give myself to this passion even more. So yes, it is all inclusive, developing that body of work that you talk about so often. And it's like, okay, well, now I have this and I have this. And as a manifesting generator does, we can juggle. It doesn't feel like juggling. It's just like, yeah, here we are in these different areas. So it's, I just had a coaching call with one of my one-on-one clients, and she's also a manifesting generator. She was struggling with the same thing. She was in business. She's been in business for 7 years in the same modalities. And she's like, I'm just feeling this and I'm feeling that. And I really want to do this. I'm like, do it. Permission granted, do it. So often, it doesn't matter what energy type we are, we can get stuck in our heads and feel like we should do this because this is what successful people do. And this is what successful online business is. And we should, and I should, and I should. And it's like, no, that's not new paradigm business model.
I like to say, like, no reason to should on yourself.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you for that download, for that transmission. Because what I'm noticing for folks out there who already have offers or who've been giving workshops or one-off sessions, and they're on the edge of that next level, but they're not sure like what that next level looks like. And being in that mystery is not often the easiest place to be. And this is why I invite them into the Conscious Creative Business Immersion so that we can be together in the great mystery as we have these conversations of where I might want to take this next level of business. And for me, it's worked really well to have one signature offer and refine it over time. And that refinement is not about the offer name or the packaging, although I help people to refine that as well. It's about the refinement of the quality of our work and being clear and clean enough to listen to what our audience is asking for, to where the society and have our pulse to what is really happening around us so that we can be most of service. And so some offers are completely unaligned and we get to crumple them up. But I love what you've done around switching when you're launching the program and inviting in this moment your one-to-one work to thrive. And what I want everyone to understand out there is that a high value offer is not dependent on whether it's a one-on-one offer or a group offer, or even if it's in person or online. A high value offer, in the way that we define it in our world, in the Conscious Creative Business Immersion, is that we are really delivering a quality of service that's integral to our certifications, lessons, the investments that we've made in ourselves, our readiness and willingness to support someone deeply. And that can happen in a school-like environment, in a certification program, or it can happen in a mentorship one-on-one. And so it's been so lovely to hear that you are in the similar place as I am of like, things are changing. And that doesn't mean that we're going to quit. And that doesn't mean that we're going to stuff ourselves in some kind of box that we don't belong in as high achieving spiritual baddies. That's who I coach. That's what I changed my Insta bio to today. As I prepared for this call, I'm like, Allison is one of my best clients, or all my best clients, okay? But like really, when I talk about Allison a lot, you'll see it in my content. Of somebody who's really gone all in and had, not without any the turmoil, single mom to three boys, like sold your own house during my program, like it, like what did it really take for Allison to create the level of success and the keep goingness and the staying power? What did we really do in our program? What were the conversations that I had with Allison, and who was she? And that's how I really define and refine my programs over time, is like create them for the person that you were just born to serve. So I wanted to start to talk about, who are you born to serve in this era of Allisonhood and human design and quantum leaping with people, co-creating that level of life success and professional career success for your people. Who are your people? My long-winded way to say, who are your people?
Perfect. Yes. I really coach people who are the wicked intelligent, very determined, successful according to our world, and also find themselves getting stuck in those mental loops, and or feel like they feel lost. There's a feeling of, I've had people coming to me recently, they're like, dude, I just finished my PhD certification, my program, and I've got all these ideas, and I feel like I'm drifting on a raft out at sea. And I've had multiple people sharing that with me, people who feel imposter syndrome, even though, and here's the thing, it's like my clients are so brilliant, and like they've got what it takes, and they cannot grasp why this is still bugging them. Why is this even here? All of the answers, all of the keys, it's all in our human design. It's in our biochemistry, it's in our genetics, it's in our energetics, it's in our spirit. And so really finding those people who are resonating with that message, people who resonate with my energy. It's just, this is the beautiful thing about the new paradigm. It's like, yeah, the people that we serve find us. And the end. That doesn't mean that we're going to go sit in the closet and not ever come out, not ever post, and not ever write, not ever it doesn't mean that we're not visible. But as we do our work, our people find us. So those are the types of people that have been finding me. Super, super intelligent, amazing people who have medicine to bring to the world, whether it's in their industry of service, whether it's the healing arts, whether they are medical professionals, authors, creatives. I had an artist come to me recently, and just people who have those healing gifts, and they're ready to enter the new paradigm and need a little help along the way.
Well, I love that so much, because my specialty and what I love talking about the most is client attraction. And not just because I love marketing and I love, sharing my voice, which I do love marketing and sharing my voice. It's because when we have the opportunity to coach someone deeply, like I have with Allison, like Allison does with her clients, there's this ripple effect on the world. We're all deepening together, we're all rising together. And I often say in my programs, we do it for the delivery. We do it for the delivery. And just to hear you speak about how connected and how like the joy on your face of the clients that are coming to you regularly because you chose to go all in on yourself and put together offers and not stop when, you were hearing the whispers of a new offer coming in, not making that mean anything about you, not being an imposter in that moment, but being the leader who's now teaching on imposter syndrome.
Hey there, visionary leader. If you're resonating with this message, I'd like to invite you into your next level life and business. Enrollment has begun for the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. This is my signature group container to help you design an offer so delicious, so juicy, so based on your soul gifts that you are thrilled to invite your soulmate clients inside of it. I'm going to teach you how to promote this offer with a ton of heart and to sell out this offer with ease to meet your revenue goals. I would love to have you inside if you are a visionary leader who knows that they are great at what they do. You'd like to collapse the timeline on how long it takes to reach consistent income with an offer that you truly love. Go to the link in the show notes to apply for the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. I will be sitting with your application individually, and I will send an email to let you know if you've been accepted in a few days after application. Thank you for trusting me with your vision, and I can't wait to see what we co-create.
And the other thing that was coming through was what you said about we're not going to hide in the closet. But I wanted to share this story as the doggies are saying hello. But I wanted to share this story about how you found me because I was actually in a closet in that episode. I was.
Oh my
sharing,
God.
isn't that funny? I was sharing my voice on my coach's podcast. And you were the one of the people that joined my program without a sales call, very surprisingly. Talk about knowing what she wants. And you had heard me on that podcast. And in that podcast, she had invited me to get into a room without sound because like right now I have dogs barking, but I don't mind. But she's very professional. I love my first mentor, Kim Arget-Singer, and we met on her podcast. You listened to her podcast and said, that's my girl. That's my coach. I'm going to seek her out, and bought the program without a sales page. Now, don't worry, everybody. If you want to buy our programs, both of us have enrollment calls and discovery calls. We'll talk to you. And like, that's a level of like, all right, I'm in the knowingness. But I was in a closet. So like you can attract your clients from a closet also.
That is, so if I could real quick, this is a synchronicity. Okay. And this is something that's been coming through to talk about a lot, but synchronicities this is evidence that we're living our work. And again, to get scientific, it's actually our DNA doing this. Our DNA they're conductors of light. And so as we do our inner work and we bring our work to the world, life becomes synchronous. So like it is no coincidence that I'm sitting here, that it just popped out of my mouth like, oh, you're not going to sit in your closet. And you're like, actually, yes, you can.
No limits.
Because that's how you came to me, Allison.
You can actually attract your clients from a closet. Sometimes I think like, how am I going to build this extraordinary life, this extraordinary business from my, and have an extraordinary partnership from my underwear in my room? And I'm like, well, no, I've already, nobody knows if I'm wearing pants or not. Like, I do wear shorts sometimes, and sometimes I'm in my bathing suit for getting visible just because that's what I want to wear. And this is me. And so coming back to that aspect of this is a sacred calling for you, for me, for those of us listening, for those of us who are interested in human design, for those of us interested in quantum leaping in our career and lives, for those of us interested in designing or finding a high value offer, whether you want to hire me or whether you want to hire Allison, I'm all here for it. I love when my clients, that's why I get them on this podcast. I love when my clients are continuing to grow their body of work and share their voice. It is about being visible and being heard. So being seen and being heard is about being visible. And being visible is about sharing yourself, no matter your human design, showing up in the ways that do feel good to you. And so you've made a commitment to being on more podcasts. That's so fun. And I've made a commitment to growing my podcast. So we're aligned. That's so beautiful. And so, what advice might you give someone with a human design if they're thinking about like, where's the best place for me to market? Does that ever come up for you around marketing of like human design and marketing?
Yeah, it does. And one of the things I look at is the throat, their throat center. So if there's a defined throat center, typically more often than not, again, it's different because is there a motor connected to the throat? Are there channels activated from the throat? Where do they go to? All this stuff. So it's, this is a bite-sized snippet. However, if there's a defined throat, activating that throat chakra in your marketing is powerful. And that is where, again, I came to you because I heard your voice. I heard your literal voice. And before I even understood what you were talking about, I heard your voice and I was attracted to that, right? And similarly, what I have found is when I get in front of people, when I activate my throat chakra, my people are attracted to me. Now, my throat is doing all kinds of things in my chart. I'm not sure about what yours is doing in your chart, but that's one of the things I look at. If there's not a defined throat, I look at different gates. There's different kinds of creativity gates that can be activated, and they all have different flavors. And so, yes, is the short answer. Like, yes, design has a lot to do with marketing. I'm actually in the middle of completing my certification for sales and marketing by design. So that's happening. I forgot to mention, but this is something that I am deeply, deeply diving into with my clients.
Oh, I love that. And for those of you listening, Allison right now looks like a throat chakra. She has this gorgeous blue, if you're not watching on the live, but she has this gorgeous blue sweater on, and you're like vibrating like a throat chakra. Love that. And this is so beautiful because a piece that I often speak about is the unseen resonance between your client and you, that unseen vibration. And that's going to bring us back, full back circle around the science to quantum physics, I'm sure. But I have spoken about this because it's something that resonates with me in my work. As I started working as a yoga teacher, I started as a psychotherapist, but I started as a yoga teacher and a singer-songwriter. And so weaving that throat chakra work into my very first programs on creative enhancement really helped people in that initial stages when they didn't know how to sing or they didn't know how to share their voice at all. They were completely blocked. And now I've transitioned my work to help people, speakers, messengers, refine their messages and really live their sacred callings full time. That's the big piece of my work now. But it all starts with sharing our voices, because the voice is an extension of our message. And our message is not something that we're just like creating in a vacuum or creating in a closet somewhere. Like, our message is coming from the depth of who we're being. So in my programs, we're working on first who we're being and our resonant energy, so that when when my clients co-create a message with me, when they get their I help statement, it's not some robotic I help statement from some formula. It's really like, no, this is how I help people. This is how I want to help people. This is how I will help people in the future. This is what I value. This is who I am. And so when we're actually given the opportunity or taking the opportunity or creating opportunities for ourselves in podcasts, in social media, at networking events, this is that moment. These are the moments where we're creating opportunities for people to feel us and feel our transmissions and resonate with us. So I wanted to ask, and there's a few directions we can take it, I heard, but like I wanted to ask if you had any insight on the quantum physics around that you could share. And then there was something else coming through. I think it's gone now, though. And I can ask my neutrinos to bring it back if it's relevant. But yeah, let's just talk about the quantum physics around that. Like what is the science around that? And I've
Yeah.
studied it a little bit with sound healing, but I want to hear from you and your perspective from a scientific point of view.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I like to say I'm not a quantum physicist, but for the past 10 years, maybe 15, for whatever reason, it has been my hobby because everybody reads quantum physics books on their free time, right?
No, but one time I was a farmer for a quantum physicist, and I was like, wow, I'm really like working with the plants for this scientist. This is really cool.
Totally.
You're funny.
But honestly, when we understand, and again, this is something that the spiritual community has adopted, and they are correct that we do create our realities this way. But for me, understanding that literally our DNA is set up like this. I mean, when you look at the Chinese I Ching, which is over 5,000 years old, it's an old divination book. And the hexagrams and this is all weaved into how human design is set up. There's 64 hexagrams. Well, in DNA, there's 64 codons. In ancient Egypt and the ancient places where there's architecture, and we don't understand how that architecture was made before they had anything other than primitive tools. They used the number 64 in all of their constructs. And they used their voices because they understood that our intent and our voice creates reality. So our words and our thoughts, they have vibrations. So the quantum physics is everything is vibrating all the time, everywhere, on certain frequencies. And so our intentions have specific frequencies. Our thoughts and our thought processes, our thoughts about ourselves, our thoughts about our clients, and our voices, wherever we are, whatever we are saying, thinking, or doing, has specific frequencies and signatures. And every person's chart has a different frequency and a different signature. So doing this whole frequency mapping and this dance, that is where the quantum physics, it's like we're calling these particles that can be waves, they can be particles. We're calling them out of the ether into form. We're calling them into form. And it's my deep belief that as the collective continues to rise and awaken, this will literally happen where it's like, okay, I want to teleport to Egypt or wherever. In 100 years, I don't know if it's going to take that long. I truly believe we will be able to do that. Just from a quantum physics standpoint, like this is the stuff that is possible.
Mm.
It's just, it's like, this is our manifesting platform. What do we want to manifest?
Oh, I thank you for this reminder because sometimes when the world is a bit chaotic and things are not flowing in our lives the way we want them to, we can get hung up on how did I manifest this, or I'm no good at manifesting, or things like that.
Mhm.
And it's not that we're manifesting wrong,
Mhm.
but if we're not actually aware of every thought and we're
Yes.
not actually doing the inner work and we're not actually taking care of our energetic hygiene, then we can have all the desire in the world. You can learn from me. You can create a content strategy plan. You can, learn a next level strategy from me, which I totally give to my clients. But I'm telling you that they only do it. They only follow through with the strategy when they've got this piece a little bit more at the forefront in the heart of their day to day. This piece of like, okay, that thought probably is not the best thought to continue to move forward with if I want that extraordinary life, if I want to double my revenue, if I want to call in 5 clients this month. And so thank you so much for speaking to that and for reminding us that it's not about being perfect. It's not about having pristine thoughts in every moment. It's not about ignoring what's happening in the world or blaming yourself for the manifestation of a world war. This is not what we're talking about. But how can we be a center of peace and a vibration of peace if we ourselves are not being coached, or not being guided, are letting these rogue thoughts run our lives? And I'm telling you, this is the first time that I've launched a program without a millionaire mentor. And like my
Different.
rogue thoughts, it is different. I just want to tell everybody it is different. And like, I'm going back to coaching. My
Right.
rogue thoughts just have a little, like, I'm checking them. I'm a great coach, but there is a difference between self-coaching, and then, even though I'm a great coach and do my personal practices and have manifestation and vibrant life desires, like, my rogue thoughts, they'll come for longer. They're not being checked. So I wanted to say that out loud about, it's not about having perfect vibrancy and doing it on your own. So before we close and before we talk about your upcoming events and how people can hire you and learn more about you and come to one of your amazing free offerings or low cost offerings to see, get deeper into your world, I wanted to have you speak on the power of doing it together, whether it's one-on-one with a coach or whether it's in a group environment, and maybe a little bit about your experience in the conscious creative business immersion, if you'd like to speak on that.
Yeah. The power of having a coach, there's not language. Like when we start applying language to these deeper principles, we automatically lose some of the magic just because these things are deep. But if I had to put language to it, which I have to get my voice out there, but it's nothing short of life-changing. Being in the conscious creative business immersion absolutely changed the trajectory of my entire life. It was my launch point. Like, it really gave that foundation, because I was that person that was like, I've got all this feeling and juju inside of me, and I do not know how to get it out. I don't know how to craft the offer. I don't know what to even, I wasn't online at all. I had like no online presence. And I knew that I wanted to travel the world with my 3 sons. And so I needed to be online and be remote and these things. And so I cannot overstate the importance of what those 2 rounds did for me, for my business and my life. I mean, you were coaching me through some pretty dense, heavy energy at times. I was going through a lot of major life transitions while I was building the business. So just having the group container was beautiful, because there is magic that happens in a group that is not accessible other places. But then even having you one-on-one in my corner was I think the best gift I could have ever given myself. And that's what I'm experiencing with my clients. I caught up with a past client. I put this on my Instagram story the other day, but I recently caught up with a previous client who I'd worked with for 9 months or 12. I can't remember. It's close to 12 months, but they were like, this changed my whole life. They're like, I am not the same person. Just that is the power of having a high value coach in your corner. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, when you were speaking, I was just like feeling the power of the bravery that anyone out there listening, the bravery that you've had, the bravery that I've had, and anyone out there that's resonating with either one of our work, to say, okay, I can do this. I just have to have faith in myself. And that faith is much easier to have when you're first getting started, or when you're up leveling, when you have someone that can hold that belief for you, even when it doesn't seem like it's working out, or even when the mystery and the great mystery becomes too much, or even when there isn't evidence that it's going to work for us. We have to look at our coach's evidence or the people around us evidence and let that be enough for a while. And that's hard because that could bring up comparison or imposter syndrome, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But the fact that you found me and you found me on my coach's podcast, and now you went in twice on yourself in the faith and going all in, and now you get to travel the world with your three sons. I was there when you got to do that and saw pictures from somewhere beautiful, and like just giving your sons that gift that you always wanted to give them, because you went all in on yourself, and you went from working multiple jobs, and you're not a stranger to making it work. Any single mom, my mom was a single mom, and I work with a lot of moms. It's like any mom in general, and especially a single mom to three boys, like you're no stranger to making it work. So I'm sure you thought you're just like, this is happening. And at that stage, choosing someone, investing in yourself, you did that work. That's what it is. It's like the investments are, yes, I'm going to receive the knowledge. I'm going to receive the knowledge from somebody brilliant. That's great. But it's like, oh, I'm going to trust, not just once, but twice. And you became an energetic match for those people reaching out to you going like, hey, actually, I prefer one-on-one. I'd prefer to go deeper with you because that's who you are. So the magic of it all is so cool. And so before we close, I know that you have some amazing events coming up around imposter syndrome. And so why don't we talk a little bit about comparisonitis, imposter syndrome, and then lead us into how they can, because some people are watching live, and this transmission will be up on YouTube soon. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm sure Allison will whip up her event for you to gain access to, even if it's already happened. And you're watching the podcast sometime in the quantum future, that we have the quantum timeline we've created and birthed today. But ultimately, you're going to get an opportunity to work through your imposter syndrome with Allison. So why don't you let us know your theories and principles around imposter syndrome and lead us into how they can go deeper with you?
Thank you. This is something that I had to experience from the inside out and struggle with. And you were there with me in my struggle for part of it. But it's like, here's the definition of imposter syndrome. Okay. And anyone who has this, has struggled with this, understands it. It's like, okay, I have been playing classical piano for 33 years now, or 35. I don't know. I'm really, really amazing on my instrument. Okay. I have been writing for decades and decades and decades. I am a wordsmith. I'm a master writer. I'm an editor. I was pre-med. I have all this. It's like I have done all of the things, and I haven't just done them because I do have a specific channel in my chart that's the channel of mastery. I don't just do them, I master them. Okay, so it's like this, but this is imposter syndrome. I've got all of this, and I've lived more lives in one that sometimes I even forget. I forget how much I know about, oh yeah, I'm a martial artist, like I'm a kung fu, like I can do so many things. And imposter syndrome is like, Allison, who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to do anything or teach anybody or craft anything or think that you will be successful at anything? And even just saying that and giving that voice, I could feel the vibration in my body, just like, here's what that is. That is my undefined heart center. Undefined ego center. There's different terminologies for it. That's all it is. So because 70% of the world has an undefined heart ego center, I want to host a masterclass on this particularly because it has been coming up for my clients now, where, oh my God, they are so brilliant. They are so brilliant that I'm like, I want to learn from you, and I want to learn from you. I know I'm your coach, but like, teach me. And And they're sitting there on the other end of the screen, and they're like, who am I, Allison, to be doing this? And they're devaluing their gifts, and they're discounting their services. And these are healers that have been healing for decades. I mean, this is not their first time around the block. So I will be hosting a masterclass on imposter syndrome and how to alchemize that. Because another thing, and you probably see my earrings, another thing that is coming through heavily in my work is snake spirit and the true embodiment of transmutation. So even when I gave voice to that, imposter syndrome, and I felt the vibration lower, snake spirit teaches us to consume and not shy away from the shadow. So incorporating shadow work and all of these things into human design, we're going to get a taste of that in this masterclass. I think this is just being born, so I don't have a specific date. I'm thinking it's going to be the week before Thanksgiving 2023. But it will be evergreen. It will be available after the date as well. So that is coming up. I don't even have a title yet. This is just coming through. So
Oh, I love it. I love your take on it as well, because, it is something that I'm sure a lot of people have been interested in, is this imposter syndrome. We've been hearing about this concept since, we started our self-development journey. But your take, specifically using human design as a model to make it less personal, and seeing that's all it is. It's just this undefined heart center. Like, I can't wait to join this myself. And I had an idea. I was thinking maybe I would talk to you about it afterwards, but I just want to drop the idea, and then I have something about the alchemists that I want to share. But the idea is, I definitely want to book a human design session with you. But I was thinking, because we love chatting it up so much and we're both not shy to be visible, is like, I don't mind if we film it. If we film it for both of our content and you coach me, guide me. Isn't that cool? And it's like, I think
my sacral is screaming at me. I'm about to come at you through the Zoom. I'm like, yes, girl.
Wouldn't that be fun? Because I have no problem being seen. That's something that I've worked through and teach my clients on, just letting them be seen. Like, look at my whole chakra system. Come on, people. Like, I got nothing to hide. I'm an open book. And that's taken me work to get there. So let's film it. Let's set that up. But then I wanted to share, this is so around synchronicities as well, is in my new Oracle deck, the Muses, Legends, and Familiars Oracle deck. It's still flowing off my tongue because it's so brand new. Maybe when people are listening, it'll already be out either as a Kickstarter or as a already out for purchase, but people are going to be able to pre-order it. But a lot of my clients have been sneaking into this deck somehow. And it's usually the way that they look. Like, one of my the healer cards looks like a client I had last round. The Fool, actually, some of the cards I've designed to look like some of my friends. And some of my cards actually are their AI avatar that they've given me permission to use in the deck. But your Instagram has always been about alchemy, alchemize with Allison, something like that. What is it? Just so people can find you.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's alchemy with Allison, and it's Allison with 2 L's.
Alchemy with Allison with 2 L's. But I have an alchemist card, and it is a black guy. So I didn't think it was you, but it is. It's a past life Allison. And the snake is his familiar. It's your past life.
Christina, the next time we get on camera, I may have my, so I actually commissioned a personal artist, and she is putting my spirit on canvas. And I've seen the first draft, and oh my God.
Is it a black guy?
It's actually not. But I can't wait to show you, because I know you're an amazing artist. I'm so excited about your deck. Like, I am one of those people that I'm clicking in. I'm like, okay, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, you signed up for the wait list.
I'm your
You
number
are
one.
proactive. You
Yes.
are someone who joins things. That's evidence of why you have the success, but you signed up for the wait list. That's amazing. So you will be the first to get your hands on the deck, and then know that the alchemy card has a special message just for you. As I'm still creating the guidebook and the message, I will think of you as I'm downloading the message. And so when you get the alchemist card, he may not look like you, but he has a special message for you.
My brother from another mother.
He's hot, by the way. The alchemist is hot.
Awesome.
So fun. You could date my cards. I don't know. Oh, anyway, so as we close, so we know I'm going to leave the links to your Instagram, to your this upcoming masterclass as we get the link, and to where they can, sign up to work with you and be more in your world so that they can hear about this masterclass if you're watching live. Um, and yeah, do you have any final words for the people around living their best life, manifesting, really, really manifesting from a scientific point of view, the life that they want to live through their human design? What's your final say on that?
God, really, so much of my own work has come through alchemizing the shadow, right? And that does have quantum effects. That's transmutation, but it's also on a cellular level. It's on a subatomic quantum level, and it's on a cellular level. And I just say that to say I have truly embodied everything that we have talked about today. And from that place, I just want to say to anyone who finds themselves in that place of like feeling a little stuck and sticky, you're just working out your design. If you are listening to this podcast, chances are you are here to do some deep spiritual work, not just for yourself, but from your ancestral line. And that is carried through your DNA, my friend. Like, it's literally inside your body. So just, I feel like I'm speaking to the version of myself 10 years ago, and I'm speaking to anyone who may resonate listening to this. Don't beat yourself up if you're going through a sticky moment. It has nothing to do with you. You are beautiful, you're sacred, you are divine. We are all fractals of the same consciousness. My previous client that I caught up with said, yeah, it's like we're an aspen grove. We're just, aspens. I'm in Colorado, aspen trees, they share the same root system. They're actually an organism. And that's what we as the collective are realizing about each other is like, oh, you are me. I am you. We are mirroring each other and engaging in this human dance. So if you are finding yourself in that place of imposter syndrome, feeling lost, whatever, just know you're not alone. There are guides here who have contracted to be here to lead you the way. And that is, here's two of them right here, Christina and myself. And it's just an honor to do this work. It's an honor to be here. Probably the best way to reach out to me is on Instagram, Alchemy with Allison. Just DM me. I check the DMs regularly, and that's a good way to get in touch.
Oh, slide into her DMs. I received that inspiration, coaching, transmission for the collective. We are beautiful. I'm sending it down to the roots, into the earth. I hope other people that haven't even heard this podcast felt that transmission too, because that was beautiful. Thank you for reminding us all. Thank you for being on this podcast, for doing your work, for being on the path of mastery, because we are going to grow together. We're going to rise together. And I'd love to have you back on as a regular guest. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Christina. It's an honor.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.